ever pondered why men and women, though equal, are so distinctively different? A question that has intrigued thinkers, scientists, and curious minds alike for centuries. We all know that men and women are equal, yet it's impossible to ignore the unique qualities that each gender brings to life's table. These differences are not about superiority, but they're about diversity and complementarity. They're about understanding that each gender has its own strengths and weaknesses, and that's what makes us human. In our quest for gender equality, it's paramount that we don't lose sight of these differences. They're what make us unique, what make us interesting, and what make us us. Understanding these differences can help us appreciate each other more and help us work together towards a world where everyone's strengths are recognized and celebrated. In this video, we delve into the fascinating differences between males and females, drawing from biology, psychology, and culture. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together. The biological differences between men and women are apparent. From the outset, it's clear that men and women, while sharing many similarities, also demonstrate a host of biological differences. These distinctions span across various aspects, including physical strength, endurance, and body composition, all of which have been shaped by the diverse roles males and females have played throughout the course of human evolution. Let's dive a little deeper. Firstly, when it comes to physical strength, men, on average, tend to be physically stronger than women. This is largely due to the higher proportion of muscle mass in men, particularly in the upper body. This difference has its roots in our early human societies, where males were often tasked with physically demanding roles such as hunting and protection. Next, endurance. While men may generally possess greater strength, women often outperform men in terms of endurance. This means that women can typically sustain physical activity for longer periods. This endurance advantage may have evolved because of the roles women traditionally played, such as gathering food and caring for children, which required long periods of sustained effort. Finally, body composition. Men typically have a lower body fat percentage than women. This is because women's bodies are designed for childbirth and breastfeeding, processes that require an extra energy reserve in the form of fat. Men, on the other hand, have a higher muscle mass, a trait that has evolved due to their roles as hunters and protectors in early societies. But here's the thing. These biological differences don't imply superiority or inferiority. Quite the contrary. They simply highlight the unique roles each gender has played in our evolution. The strength of men equipped them to be efficient hunters and protectors, while the endurance and body composition of women enabled them to be effective gatherers and caregivers. These physical differences, however, do not equate to superiority or inferiority, but rather illustrate the unique roles each gender has played in our evolution. Our minds, too, are wired differently. Let's delve into the fascinating world of psychological differences between men and women. Now, before we proceed, it's crucial to remember that these differences are not absolute. They can vary greatly among individuals. We're all unique, after all. Emotional intelligence, for instance, is often seen as a strength typically associated with women. Women are generally better at understanding and expressing emotions, giving them an edge in forming deeper connections and nurturing relationships. This is not to say that men lack emotional intelligence, just that, on average, women might have a slight advantage in this area. Then there's multitasking. You've probably heard that women are better at juggling multiple tasks at once. Well, studies do suggest that women are more adept at switching between tasks, while men tend to focus more intensely on a single task. Again, though, this is a generalization and doesn't apply to everyone. Now, let's talk about risk-taking. Men are typically seen as the more adventurous gender, more willing to take risks and push boundaries. This trait can be beneficial in certain situations, such as in competitive environments or in decision-making roles. However, it's important to remember that being risk-averse, which is often associated with women, can be equally advantageous, fostering a more thoughtful and cautious approach. In essence, These psychological differences between men and women are a testament to our diversity as human beings. They reflect the full spectrum of human capabilities, from emotional awareness to focused concentration, from multitasking to risk-taking. Each of these traits has its own strengths and potential weaknesses, and the balance between them is what makes us who we are. So rather than seeing these differences as evidence of superiority or inferiority, let's celebrate them as a testament to our human complexity. After all, these differences don't exist to create a hierarchy, but to complement each other. These mental differences, like our physical differences, show the complementarity of men and women, not the dominance of one over the other. Culture, as well, shapes our gender identities significantly. From the moment we are born, culture sets a blueprint for how we should behave, dress, and even think based on our gender. In many societies, traditional roles have dictated that men are the providers, the protectors, the decision makers, while women have been cast as the nurturers, the caregivers, the peacemakers. These roles have been etched deeply into the fabric of our societies, perpetuated by cultural norms, customs, and even laws. But let's take a moment to ponder on this. How much of this is biological and how much is cultural? Are men naturally superior at decision-making, or have they been conditioned to take on this role by societal expectations? Are women inherently better caregivers, or is this a skill honed by generations of cultural conditioning? The truth is, these cultural norms are not static. They've been changing, evolving, and transforming as societies progress towards a more egalitarian understanding of gender roles. We're seeing more women in leadership positions, more men taking on caregiving roles, and a general blurring of the traditional gender divide. In some cultures, we see men and women sharing roles and responsibilities equally, challenging the notion of gender superiority. These societies show us that men and women can coexist, not in competition, but in collaboration, each bringing their unique strengths to the table, creating a synergy that is far superior to any notion of gender dominance. However, progress is slow and uneven. In many parts of the world, deep-seated cultural norms still hold sway, reinforcing gender disparities. It's a constant struggle to challenge these norms, to push for change, to advocate for equality. But every step forward is a victory, a testament to the resilience and strength of those who dare to challenge the status quo. So, as we navigate this complex terrain of culture and gender, it's crucial to remember that cultural norms are not a measure of inherent superiority or inferiority. They are a reflection of society's views on gender, shaped by history, tradition, and power dynamics. They are not immutable laws, but constructs that can and should be questioned, challenged, and transformed. Cultural norms reflect society's views on gender, not inherent superiority or inferiority. It's essential to recognize these differences, not to rank genders, but to foster understanding and equality. In the grand tapestry of human existence, gender differences, be they biological, psychological, or cultural, are threads that weave intricate patterns. They are not markers of superiority or inferiority. Rather, they serve as a testament to the diverse range of human experiences and perspectives. When we understand these differences, we can use them as stepping stones towards building a society that respects and values all its members equally. In the pursuit of gender equality, we've made significant strides. Once upon a time, women were denied the right to vote, to work, and to receive an education. Today, we see women leading nations, pioneering scientific breakthroughs, and excelling in every field imaginable. We've seen societies transform, laws change, and mindsets evolve. Yet, like any journey, this one too has its share of hurdles. Despite the progress, glass ceilings still exist. Women often face an uphill battle when it comes to equal pay and representation in leadership roles. In many parts of the world, archaic cultural norms and restrictive laws continue to hinder women's rights and opportunities. Moreover, Men too are shackled by gender stereotypes, often pressured to conform to notions of masculinity that can be harmful and limiting. Gender equality is not just about women's rights. It's about human rights. It's about creating a world where everyone, regardless of their gender, has the freedom to fulfill their potential without being hindered by stereotypes or discrimination. It's about recognizing that our differences, whether they be biological, psychological, or cultural, are not barriers, but bridges to understanding and respect. It's about acknowledging that every individual, whether they identify as a man, a woman, or non-binary, brings a unique set of skills, experiences, and perspectives to the table. It's about celebrating these differences, not using them as a yardstick for superiority. By understanding and respecting our differences, we can work together towards a more equitable world. So, are men superior to women or vice versa? The answer is neither. As we've explored throughout this video, both genders have their unique strengths and weaknesses. It's important to remember that these differences are not a measure of superiority or inferiority, but rather a testament to the diversity and complexity of the human experience. We've delved into biological, psychological, and cultural differences, each highlighting unique aspects of men and women. But these differences should not be used as a scale to rank one gender above the other. Instead, they should inspire us to understand and value the unique contributions each gender brings to the table. As we move towards a more egalitarian society, it's crucial that we respect these differences and work towards a world where everyone, regardless of gender, can excel and contribute their best selves. Instead of asking which gender is superior, perhaps we should ask, how can we better understand and respect our differences to promote equality and cooperation?